What's up, guys? You can see we've got a change of scenery here. We've got the new office all set up. Today, I'm going to bring you an update on Cleanspark. They just posted a earnings report and they had some record Bitcoin mining numbers. So I wanted to jump on and give you my thoughts on that and give you an idea of where the Cleanspark stock price could be headed from here. I'm also going to break down the chart and give you just kind of my opinion if this is a buy at these levels or if we should be headed for the hills. So let's jump right in. Welcome back to This Just In. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Justin and I am your host. In today's video, guys, we're going to go over Cleanspark. I haven't made a video on this company for a while, so I wanted to give you an update because they posted their earnings report, and honestly, the stock has gotten beat down really bad over the last couple of weeks. If you want to see a video where I go super in depth on the company, I will link that right here so you can check that out. Today, we're just going to focus on their most recent earnings report. We're going to see if it looks good, if they're growing as a company, what their Bitcoin mining production looks like. And then I'm also going to break down the chart and give you those levels that either A, you should be looking to buy, or B, maybe we should just head for the hills and move on to something else. The goal of this video is to give you my honest opinion if Cleanspark is still a good stock that we should be looking to buy, or should we sell, or is it time to just kind of hang on and hold tight? Bitcoin, the stock market has not been looking good lately, guys. It's been getting, a lot of downward pressure on it. And so these growth stocks have followed really close behind and it's gotten wrecked right there with them. So I wanted to kind of address that. Real quick though, guys, before we get started, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and you want to see more videos like this. Like the video so it gets out there to more people, and come join us at the Patreon if you want to be part of an amazing family, get all of our trade setups. Day One Squad, I love you guys so much. Thank you for your support. It really does mean so much to me. Real quick, guys, before we get started, say hi to Mr. Grimm back there. He'll be in these videos a lot more often, so if you want to see him, make sure you subscribe. But let's get started. First thing, guys, so you can see that they posted a GAAP EPS of 35 cents. The consensus was 31 cents, so they beat on their GAAP EPS, which is nice to see. The revenue, 41.24 million, up 1,700% when it comes to year over year. Guys, they went from doing almost no revenue, so the 1,700%, it looks awesome, but it's not that impressive. 41 million, guys, is not very much revenue. Like, it's not that impressive. Again, it is nice to see revenue growth, obviously, right? It is nice to see them growing at such high rates, but we got to dig a little bit deeper. One thing I want to point out here, their Bitcoin mining production has grown insane amounts. There is a couple of red flags that I want to cover overall with the company, but when you look at the Bitcoin mining on its own, guys, I mean, in Q1, they did 660 Bitcoins total in the quarter. You can see in December of 2021, they did 226 Bitcoin mined that month, where in January 2021, they did 305. I mean, they added 2.1 exahash just in the last quarter, which is up tremendously, guys. I mean, that's a lot of exahash, and you can see it shows right here in the production scale. The cumulative that they did for year to date as of February 9th, 2022 was just under 2,000 at 1,826 Bitcoin. So that's a lot of Bitcoin, guys. I mean, they're making a lot of money when it comes to the mining stuff, especially when they've got their, smart grid, their microgrid technology on it, keeps their costs down. One thing that I'm kind of worried about is they're almost putting more emphasis on the Bitcoin mining now than they are the microgrid and the energy. When I first started investing in these guys, I started investing because I liked them as an energy company. A couple of things I want to point out though on the overall revenue, guys, look how much of their revenue was done through Bitcoin mining. I mean, literally 90% of it, 36, 37 million was in just Bitcoin mining and only 4 million in energy. You can see the green is energy. Again, guys, I started investing in them because I really like the microgrid. Now, obviously, I understand that they're going to do what drives revenue like today and what they can do quickly. And I think that the Bitcoin mining is a big part of their business, right? Obviously, it's making up 90% of their revenue. But one thing I want to point out, guys, the red flag that I have here, they've only done 4 million in energy revenue. That's so small. When you take into consideration that the total addressable market's like 10 billion, They do have a 20 million backlog when it comes to energy, and they do say that they're going to get up to around 10 million a quarter when it cut in just energy. But guys, 10 million a quarter is not much revenue at all. It's really concerning that they're just that part of their business is lacking. The other thing that really kind of made me so worrisome about that energy part of the business, do you realize that in the last 21 months, guys, they have only spent like $85,000 on R&D in almost 2 years? This is a technology company, guys. Their microgrid was built from 2014 to 2019, okay? And they haven't made any changes since. It cost them $10 million to produce it, make the microgrid in 2014 to 2019. They've put no money in it since. The only money that they've put into R&D is really just keeping up with the software. That's really concerning, guys. It is hard for me to believe that their microgrid that they developed is so unbelievably outstanding that it is going to far outbeat and outpace the competition that they don't even have to touch it in the last couple of years. I don't believe that. Microgrid is not a new technology. It's been around for a really long time. Now, I know a lot of people are going to get super pissed off that I said that because they're Bitcoin fanboys and that's what they're focused on. But guys, the microgrid part of their business was why they got in business, right? I mean, I understand pivoting, but it's just really concerning that they've like completely cut off R&D. They're not doing very much revenue. They're not building their backlog. The other thing, guys, is dilution. Their new CEO has literally almost 10x'd the amount of shares outstanding since 2020. And I understand that they have made acquisitions with that, but that's stuff you got to keep an eye on, guys. Those are just some of the red flags that I've been seeing. They're in a couple of lawsuits and they have kind of came out and said the big lawsuit, it was like completely baseless and they will, fight tooth and nail to defend themselves on that one. And the other one they're in the works on, it's not as big of a lawsuit, but guys, there's issues here, right? There's issues with the company. You got to be aware of them. I really like the Bitcoin mining stuff. I think it's great. They're doing a really good job with it. I like the fact that they've got the microgrid technology on the Bitcoin mining facilities, but it's almost like if you're going to be a Bitcoin mining company, be a Bitcoin mining company. Why even mess with the other stuff, right? If you're going to also focus on energy, then someone's got to put some effort in on the energy side, guys. 85,000 in R&D in almost 2 years is not putting energy in or focus in or effort in. So let's move on to the next thing, guys. Oh, one thing I will say, gross profit was up tremendously, right? 78.7%, from Q1 2021 to Q1 2022. They did 32.44 million in gross profit. But it's because mining Bitcoin isn't that expensive. If they start to even out their revenue with more energy revenue as well as Bitcoin mining revenue, like if they do 100 million in revenue and 60 of it is in Bitcoin and 40 of it is in energy, the gross profit margin won't stay that high because it costs more to do their energy business. When it comes to the bottom end, guys, the net income, they did almost 15 million, well, 14 and a half, up 35% year over year. Pretty nice to see that they're actually making a dent on the bottom end. They went from losing, negative net income to positive net income, which is something we always want to see. Overall, guys, I think that it was a great quarter for them, right? They beat on almost everything. They've got 5.2 million cash on hand, 633 Bitcoin pretty much sitting on their balance sheet, which is $30 million. So I don't think they're necessarily in any trouble when it comes to like balance sheet or, growth. Their Bitcoin mining facility is growing tremendously. I just have a concern with the energy side, and I wish they would put more emphasis on that. Next thing, guys, before we jump over to the chart, this is pretty impressive, right? They've got 117 million in deposits on future deliveries, with only 39.3 million remaining in actual commitments. And they've got over, almost 22,000 machines waiting to be delivered, which would be, almost 2.2 exahash that they will add. So the Bitcoin, I'm not worried about it. They're going to continue to grow that, right? Bitcoin hopefully doesn't fall back to 20K and we go into an overall recession because that will just kill their revenue. That's why I think they need to focus more on energy, guys, because if Bitcoin just completely gets wrecked, right, and their energy business isn't on point, the whole company's going to fall. And if you bought this as a long-term investment, you got to take that into consideration. But if we jump over to the chart, guys, you can see we've looked at this chart before, guys, and obviously it looks pretty rough, right? I mean, lower high. So like, literally has done nothing but make lower high after lower high after lower high and lower low after lower low. But in the long run, like ever since, 2020, we have technically still made a higher low. I would have liked to see it stay above $13. That was a pretty key level. Like $11 to $13 is like that inflection zone. And we just back tested it as resistance for the first time since, clear back here in like, August of 2020. Now, as long as we don't make a lower low than this previous low, I think we will be in good shape. If we don't though, if this is it, right? If it tested the bottom of that zone as resistance and it continues to draw down, like if Bitcoin breaks the 40K level that it's trying to back test right now after breaking it, this thing's going to roll over and you will probably see like $3. I know that's hard to believe, but you absolutely will likely see $3, guys, if not even lower. So, it's just all over. Once you break that 770 on the way back down, maybe 692, $7, you're probably headed to 455, $5 at least. So you got to be careful with that, guys. You can see you're starting to lose, positive momentum. You were working on some bullish divergence, but it already kind of played out with that attempted rally. And that's kind of the issue, right? Was like your attempted rally make a substantially lower high than the previous high. However, if you can draw back here, pivot, make a higher low than the previous low, spring, back test your spring, then guys, I think you'll see $20 like that, right? You get back over 13 and back test it successfully, especially with the 200-day moving average starting to kind of flatten out. You did get that nice momentum shift, guys. So this could be it. We could absolutely see it get back above 13 and you can see what happens. Straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. So you get over 13, I'll see you at $20, maybe even $22. Overall, though, guys, I think a lot of it holds in Bitcoin's hands because Bitcoin is looking really good if it can hold 40K. If it can make a higher low than its previous low, we're going to be just fine because it has made some big statements over the last couple of weeks, last week or so. And so, it could absolutely continue to see higher prices. If you jump over to the weekly, guys, I think this is kind of what I would be looking at if I was, in a position where I was wanting to buy this or if I was holding it. I am not currently holding it anymore. I sold, took a tiny little bit of a loss on it and just kind of moved on. I just didn't have as much faith or conviction in it, and I had other places I wanted to put the capital. But you can see you are working on clear as day bullish divergence from a, low on the oscillator to a much lower low on price and a higher low on your oscillator. So MACD bullish divergence on the weekly, you absolutely could see that starting to play out and again, get back above those levels. On the RSI though, you're just seeing, bearish convergence. You're sitting at 42, so you are right above that bearish control zone that you want to make sure you stay out of. You did make some of the lowest levels of relative strength on the weekly since March 2020, the COVID crash. So hopefully you can just, reject that bullish or bearish control zone and get back above that neutral area. But, you're in a pretty key area right here, guys. I mean, if you break that 770, which is that candle close, that wick low, I mean, the levels from back here in October and September, I think you're in really bad shape. But again, same on the flip side, if you can get back above 13, I think you're in really good shape. If you do not own this stock, guys, I would not buy it right here. You are in such a bad spot to buy right now because you just tested it as resistance not once, but twice. And now you're drawing down with three, a doji and then a big bearish engulfing and another follow through. So I would wait till you at least come down here and make the same low or a slightly higher low. And you've got this bullish engulfing candle, right? So as long as you can stay above the open price, which was like, what was that? Like $7.34. I think you'll be fine, but you got to be careful. So let me know what you think down in the comments though. I would love to hear what you have to say. Come over and join us at the Patreon if you want to be part of an amazing family. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a licensed stockbroker. Always do your own research and due diligence, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.